Jay, first of all, just how are we doing?
I'm doing good, actually. Yeah, everything's good. I can't complain.
Comedy has been obviously the through line throughout your life. What does comedy look like these days? Where are you doing shows? What are you doing?
I'm on the road a lot. You know, if I just took politics out of it completely. I know ticket sales are up 20–30% just because nobody wants to be lectured. People just want to get away. At least that's my thing, you know. When you're on TV and you can play directly to your audience and there's a laugh track, and when you go to Indiana or Kentucky or any other place in the country, New York, LA, you're always going to have a third of the people who don't agree with you politically. So why even go there? And that's just my attitude.
So what's the difference for you in terms of a feeling, playing like a sold-out Carnegie Hall versus playing a fun crowd in Indiana? What's the difference for you?
It's the same thing. Yeah. It's fine, as long as you're getting laughs. I mean, that's the whole thing. You know, write joke, tell jokes, get check. It's very simple.
Write joke, tell joke, get check.
But most people can't follow that formula because, you know, I want people to know how I feel about, no, go back to the write joke, tell joke part. You know?
Yeah, it's tricky to be a comedian these days. I feel like
I don't think it's any trickier
than
the other. No, you know, we've always had tough time. You know, people forget in the 60s, New York used to issue a cabaret card. If you were a comedian or a singer, you'd work a nightclub, and you'd have essentially a license, a cabaret card. And if you used an obscenity or said something, now you can't work. I mean, things are actually. It's not that it's better now, but the thing I find fast, stuff that used to be the law is now against the law. And that's great.
Yeah.
Because the old day would just be, boom, that's it. You can't do that. I mean, I remember when I was a kid in Boston, cops would break up interracial couples.
Wow.
I remember being on Charles Street, and an interracial couple holding the cop goes, hey, you go that way, you go that way. I see you together again, you're getting run in, mister. And it's like, it used to be that way. And look, I'm not pie in the sky. I'm just saying we've been through this before. You know, whenever I talk to young people, I tell them in 1939, there were 20,000 American Nazis in Madison Square Garden for a rally, and it was sold out. And they go, oh, that's not true. I go, it is true.
Right, look it up.
So there's always been, you know, read history. It just comes around and goes around.
So do you feel hopeful about where?
Yes, I'm very hopeful. Yeah. I am optimistic because ultimately it's a bit like a donkey. Sometimes you got to hit it in the head with a 2x4 to get its attention, but eventually it'll listen. You know, I mean, that's probably, now when the damn is still on the head of Peter, we don't hit donkeys. No, I'm just the expression that you kind of have to push down, and then it goes that way.
Sure.
You know, I'm encouraged by the number of people that voted in the last election because it's not that long ago, like 28%, only 28% of the country voted and thought, are elections even viable anymore? Does anybody care? Well, apparently they do.
They do now.
You know, and the fact you've got a country divided, and that's all. But more and more people are voting, and they're in the process.
Got it.
I always find it fascinating. More Americans have no idea what their rights are, but they have rights, and that's always my favorite.
Let's talk about, you know, you don't have a big comedy tour coming up. We're sitting here today.
Well, I've been on tour for 50 years.
Yeah, you're constantly on tour. Yeah. But today, we're, one of the subjects I'm really excited to talk to you about, or I really want to talk to you about and learn more about is Mavis, your love of your life.
Right.
First of all, how is she doing today?
Good, real good. You know, this dementia, Alzheimer's, whatever we can call it, it's not cancer. She's not in any pain, you know, and we have fun. I mean, you have to sort of deal with, you try to do the same thing kind of every day so there's a sameness to it, but you know, you have to sort of find the humor in it. She's not walking much anymore. I kind of carry her everywhere, but I remember I took her to Nordstrom, so she's kind of down, like, come on, let's get some clothes. I don't want any clothes. Come on. All right. So he goes, and we go in the shoe department, and she sees these shoes, you know. Oh, these sneakers, bright blue. And she likes those. She goes, yeah, I like, can I? Yeah, honey, get a pair of those. She puts on, and big smile. Oh, that's great. You want another pair? Yeah, honey, get one. So she goes on the table. She's on the table. The same shoe, kind of white and gold with some sparkly stuff. And I tried to. And she puts that one. I said, oh, hang on. Why don't you wear those home? Put yours in the box. So I go up to the salesman. How much is $24.95? That's fine. I give him my card. He goes, okay, that is $847. Oh, well, no, they're $24. He goes, these are $24. These ones were modified by some designer because he hit it with a bedazzler, and they were like $800.
There you go.
And I look at my wife, and she's got this big smile.
She's like, yeah.
And I go, I'm just glad I can afford it.
She was diagnosed with advanced dementia in 2024.
Right.
But how long did you know that she had dementia?
Probably the last 6 years or so.
Was there something that happened first that you thought?
It's just little things. You go, what?
Yeah.
Honey, what are you talking about? I mean, probably the toughest part was every day she'd wake up and realize someone had called today to tell her mother had passed away. And her mother died every day for like 3 years. And it was just, not just crying. I mean, you're learning for the first time. Each time was, and that was really tricky. Yeah, that makes it hard.
What did you say to her? What did you do?
Well, you just listen. You go through, it's a matter of, you can't say, what are you going to say? It's, you just, okay. You just try to, yeah. But like I say, you're trying to find, she was always involved with women's rights issues, my wife. And so whenever we watch TV, we try to watch TV that's episodic as opposed to, a 5-part series over, because she's not going to remember the day before. So we watched, Law and Order, perfect, 47 minutes ago. So we're watching Hawaii Five-0 from the 60s.
Oh, wow. Throwback.
And McGarrett, Jack Lloyd. I mean, every woman, honey, come here, sweetheart. What did the portrait look like? Like, sweetheart, you say. Right. So watching this episode, and Stanley Holloway, the old actor, he plays a genetic scientist who is captured by the Red Chinese. So Jack Lloyd goes to see his daughter, who's like 40. I'm sitting there with my wife, And Jack Lloyd says to her, what kind of genetic engineering did your dad do? And she says, well, I'm just a woman. I don't understand such things. And I hear, you. My voice screaming. She's screaming at the TV. And I'm just dying. He's like, I just yell at the TV, And I thought, well, okay, well, the fire's still there, And you try to find those moments, It was just so funny. And at the end, the daughter's baking muffins for her. I mean, it is so.
Oh God.
It is so sick. I mean, you go, really? It looks so crazy, but that was the norm then. I'm just a woman.
I'm just a woman. Oh, I just got the fire in her belly.
I don't understand such thing. So. I mean, so that's kind of how you have fun,
When you guys first met, I was just reading some stuff about you. She was crazy about you. She talked about how gorgeous you were, but she also said she never wanted to get married. She was a big feminist. It wasn't going to be something that she was even interested in. But somehow being with you felt like home.
My mother always thought this was the funniest thing, because when you're in showbiz, you have this great union with all these benefits, but they don't apply to your girlfriend, they apply to your wife or a family member, So I just said, honey, something happens to either of us, we got this, but I can't use it. Yeah, all right, so
let's get married?
So let's get, yeah.
Wait, there was you weren't on down on one knee, no ring?
No, I'm not really a down on one knee guy, But that's okay, it's fine. Lead by example, My dad was the same way. I found things out about my dad years later that he never spoke about. My dad was a prize fighter. He was a tough guy. But he told me he quit fighting because we realized even on his best day at work, he got punched in the face. And he realized, you can't really make a living. Everything you do, you just get punched every day in the face.
Yeah.
So my dad took a job selling insurance. Okay. So he goes to work for a Prudential insurance company in New York, and he says to them, okay, well, what's your hardest area to sell? Harlem, black people don't want insurance. And my dad didn't believe. My dad was not a really educated guy, but he had common sense. He said, well, that's ridiculous. Why would black people not want insurance? So my dad sold nickel policies in Harlem. He'd go door to door, collect 5 cents, And if the person died, they got $2,500. That's how it paid off. So, and I never knew any of this. And then when my dad died, I talked about it on the Tonight Show, and I got a letter from an African-American lady who I assume now was, at the time, my dad's 30 years ago, was in her 80s. And she said when she's a little girl, there was a man named Mr. Angelo who would come to collect the money for the insurance. And he'd always bring her a Tootsie Roll or a lollipop. And she said that he was the first white person ever to have dinner in their apartment. It always makes me cry. She said, when I grew up, I always hoped I'd meet Italian people because they're nice to black folks. And I never knew any of that, you know? And it was just, yeah, it was just very touching. I always go to that when I'm, you know, because that's what my dad did. You know, my dad was not a civil rights march. It was one person at a time, one family at a time, you know, just kind of way. When I was a kid, I was what they call a Shabbos Goy. We had the Henrys. They were Jewish. They lived next door. And one day the kid, you know, you're not supposed to touch light switches and everything. So he put a towel over the lamp in his bedroom to shield the light, and it caught fire. And it caught, nobody's killed or anything, but it's just a fire. So I got the job of, on the holidays, I would go on Jewish holidays and turn off the stove or turn up the light. So that was my job. You know, I thought, oh, this is kind of fun, you know. And you learn about a different religion and different food. And of course, the Italian food is always much better. But but the food thing, not so much. But the people, great. Yeah. So, I mean, it was just that kind of house. I mean, you know, to me, I love the whole immigrant thing. I love the different types of people, just different points of view. You know, to me, the best comedy is Stranger in a Strange Land. And when I talk to immigrants and they tell me in America why it's so odd, why are the drinks so big? I do not understand. Like when I meet people from Nigeria, I like people from Nigeria because they're like old school. They want their kids to be doctors. They're all very, you know, why do the Americans hug? Why do you hug? I do not know these people. They come up and they hug me.
They would have wrapped their arms around you.
I mean, and so to me, it's always fun. So I
think walking the walk, like you were describing, like for Mavis too, you didn't need to get on an aid and need to have you just walk the walk. What was it about her? She described what it was about you, that you captivated her and you felt like
you know something, it's somebody you're comfortable with. I enjoy her company.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a matter, I could sit in the room. She always had a book. Yeah. You know, like if I'm working on a car, she'd sit over there with a book and read. And, okay, and then we'll go do something you want to do, you know. Okay, and then so it always worked out. It wasn't always, what are you doing now?
Yeah.
You know, I used to have friends, comedians that dated civilians. Why do you have to do a show every night? Why do you have to go to the nightclub every night? Because that's my job. You know, and they have these ridiculous fights. They go, what are you doing with her? It's not working.
Did Mavis ever say to you,
no,
you're working too much?
No. I never got any of that. No, it was always fine because I always brought her.
You did?
Yeah. So yeah, to me, it was like if I was going to Hawaii, I'd bring her or something. You know.
What did you love about her?
Well, just the whole package. Really, it's not that. You know, it's like I say, I'm more live by example, you know, that kind of, I'm not, it was just very, well, it still is, very comfortable. Yeah. I mean, before she had this, I would always go home after the Tonight Show, cook dinner for her, and we watch TV. The only difference is now you just can't really talk about a lot of things because it's just.
Does she remember you?
Oh, yeah, that's not a problem. You know, real big with the flashcards, you know.
Oh, yeah?
Well, not flashcards, but see this picture? See this picture? Who's that? That's President Obama. Oh, I never met him. Yeah, honey, we had dinner with him at his house, the White House. You know, and it'd be a laugh and you know that kind of stuff. And so that's what we do on a regular basis. And just. Do
you worry that she'll forget you sometimes?
Well, I mean, I understand what it is, so I don't. You can't blame someone. Oh. She's not forgetting me. You know, that hasn't happened yet. She seems she seems extremely comfortable now. And, you know, she would drink like 7 or 8 Coca-Colas a day. This kind of stuff. She just likes Coca-Cola. She had a Coke habit. Yeah. Yeah. So, and got rid of that, got rid of the salt, got rid of So her diet is actually much better. And she seems happy and she seems contented. It's actually okay. It's good. I enjoy taking care of her. I'm always there, so it's, when I go on the road, I try to come back the same day. I went to Puerto Rico for the day the other day. Got off, tell joke, write joke, get checked, get back on the plane, come back out the same day. So and that's kind of how it goes.
It's interesting because she strikes me as a fiercely independent person.
Oh, yeah.
Her whole life.
Well, actually, that's part of it because now she really needs me, and I like that. A lot of guys have the white knight syndrome, they want to rescue somebody, but it usually turns out to be a nightmare. For me, it was very good because she needs me, and I can actually do these things for her. And she's very appreciative, and I can tell that she appreciates it. And, it's actually okay. It's okay. I mean, she was so independent before, and that was fine. That's fine. But the fact that, not that I have to do everything for her, but I don't mind. I enjoy it.
What kind of things do you get to do for her?
Well, all the things that you have to do for someone that has, it's, it's not the most romantic carrying people to the bathroom and things, but, here's my thing. I guess this is it. I've been very lucky. I wasn't drafted. My life has been pretty good. I really haven't been tested. I think you should be tested in your life. And I always wonder, what would I do in a situation? Would I cut and run? Would I do something else? Would I go, someone, and this is the most show business thing about this, someone said to me. This is so show business. Someone said, well, are you going to get a girlfriend now? I go, no, I'm not going to get a girlfriend. I have a girlfriend. But just the idea that, oh, well, I said, no. I said, that's the stupidest question. He goes, well, I'm just thinking, I don't have any needs, okay? My need, it just struck me as so funny because it's such a Hollywood selfish question.
Yeah.
So I guess you're going to get a girlfriend. No, I'm not going to get a girlfriend. How can I go out with, it just made me laugh. It just made me laugh. I go,
Right.
What planet are you on?
Yeah.
And the idea that you get married and you take these vows, nobody ever thinks they'll be called upon to act on them. That part's better or worse. Well, not really, no, of course. I mean, if it's worse, that's awful. You can't have that. But even the worst is not that bad. It's okay. Like I say, she's not screaming in pain. And when she looks at me and smiles and says she loves me, I melt, The hardest part for me is giving her the medicine because, well, now I have to hide it in ice cream. Honey, want some ice cream? Yeah, okay,
Why was that hard to give it to her?
Because she'll
She doesn't want it.
I don't want to take it. Honey, you just said, no. I don't want to argue, so.
Yeah.
So with the ice cream, honey, want some? Oh, yeah, it's great. It's good ice cream. Yeah. One day I didn't realize one of the pills, she goes, crunch, what's that? I said, oh, that's a piece of chocolate. It must be from the pistachio,
What's her day-to-day like?
Well, she sleeps a lot.
Yeah.
We'll lie in bed. I'll hold her hand until she falls asleep. And by the so it's like about 2 hours of this. And then, all right, it's okay. Then I put the covers on and I go over here and I go to sleep. And when I have to work, someone comes in and takes care of her. Mary Lena, our housekeeper, who's been with me 40 years. I mean, that's my family now, So it's really kind of cool. We put our kids through college. So it's really, it's a family. It's not like it's strange. It's not like it's strangers in the house.
Right. I remember actually interviewing you right here in your garage after you had those severe burns. And the thing I remember the most about the whole interview was that you said before you went into the ER, you went home because you didn't want your wife to be afraid.
Well, she had this then. And my face caught fire and I went to the hospital and they said, okay, you got to come in right now. I said, well, I got to go home first. No, you can't go home. I said, well, look, my wife doesn't know if I don't show up. So I go home, okay, and my face is still burning. So I go to sleep, and when I'm sleeping, okay, my face is still burning. So now my face has melded into the pillow, So I'm like, So now I have to get up, walk in the bathroom with the pillow.
Oh, geez.
Cut the pillow off my face. Then I pull to the hospital, and I have, I guess, pillow face, I guess you call it. And you know, he says, what happened? I said, well, I fell asleep, and I guess it was still hot under the skin, you know, so that was pretty funny.
When you came home that night, I didn't really know what your wife said. Did she notice, or?
Well, yeah, when your husband's face is on fire, you tend to notice. You said, what happened? Oh, I'm okay, and I just a little burn. It's all right. Are you sure? Yeah, okay. And you know, so.
Your wife was fighting for the rights of Afghan women before anyone.
Oh yeah,
even
very proud of her.
about it.
Got a Nobel Peace Prize nomination.
Yes, got a Nobel Peace Prize nomination. She has this incredible body of work, but she's been a helper her whole life.
Oh yeah, she's great.
So for her, when she wasn't able to be a helper, I mean, you were bearing witness to it. She was probably thinking, well, I still have work to do. I have things I need to do.
Yeah.
How did you help her through that period?
Well, I would take her. Her group is a feminist majority, and they would have events, and I would take her to when she was still able to walk around and do stuff, and it was okay. It was fine. You're just kind of covering for,
yeah.
You know,
was it a thing about hiding it for a while?
No. I don't know what you're going to hide. I mean, it's Hollywood, you know. The other thing, it's cocaine, cheating on your wife. Those are the ones you hide. Yeah, that's the ones people hide. You know, it is sort of odd. Although I must admit, the press has been pretty good, you know, because sometimes I would see paparazzi when I'm walking down the street with her. And I go, could you shoot from across the street? Oh, okay. Yes, you know, I usually get... You know, I'm not the kind of guy that has problems with the paparazzi. They just make me laugh because I'm thinking, if you're following me, it is a slow paparazzi day. I mean, there's nothing here that's going to be even mildly interesting unless you got a guy that's has some carburation problems and wants to have his car fixed. Yeah, but yeah, so they've always been pretty good.
Yeah. What do you guys talk about? Like, what are the conversations that you have these days?
Well, I mean, the conversation, it'll be. What's she'll point something and say something that doesn't quite make sense, and I go, no, it's good, honey, it's all right. It is, you know. Oh, good. So I sense she wants to be reassured that everything's okay.
Everything's okay.
You know, you hear a noise outside. What's that? You know, no, it's fine. You know, try not to have too many disturbing images on TV. Yeah. You know, I mean, sometimes you think it's fine, and she'll be, is that person going to be okay? And I realize, oh boy, she's
seeing it as a
into the story here a little
real
bit.
Thing, yeah.
So you try to change the news and not try to, you know, show the crying children of Biafra and all this kind of stuff on the news where she gets really upset, or, you know, like with the women's issues in Afghanistan. So, yeah, you just kind of use common sense, I guess.
You know the phrase you say the most out of every phrase, just since I've been sitting here? It's fine. I'm fine. We're fine.
Well, it is fun. You know, I really have I've been very lucky. I mean, I don't know what people do who are teachers or policemen and they have a family member with this, you know. So to me, you know, the idea that you have something to, like, shut up, you know, whiny show business people, it's really annoying to me. I mean, there are people that they don't have any. I'm lucky I can have someone come in when I'm not there for 4 or 5 hours to help Mavis around and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, so that's okay. So that's why it is fine. It is fine.
Does she enjoy a good meal?
You know, her appetite's really come back.
Yeah.
It's really come back because she was just really out of it. And I thought, well, let me get some. So the nice thing is, you know, this is California. And in the Beverly Hills area, you have access to the best psychiatric people and all that kind of stuff. So it's very good. It's very good. So she's calm and she seems happy. And, you know, I have nurses come in twice a week and they take her blood and make sure everything's all right, and, you know, change sheets and do all this kind of stuff. So it's good. I enjoy it. It's like 25% less than what it used to be. I'll put it that way. I mean, I wish I could take her out and go out to eat and do things like that. But you can't really. I mean, I'm saying, well, we'll get some help. We'll take her out the car and we'll drive around and look at stuff. And she likes that. But yeah, I mean, I feel bad we can't do that because there's so many things. You reach this point in your life where she loved to travel. To me, that was my nightmare. Remember we went to the Eiffel Tower? No, I've never been there, honey. Yeah, we did. I was on the Eiffel. I don't know. To me, it's, you know.
So she would love to.
Oh, yeah. A lot of things she'd love to do. Go to the Christmas marts and in Germany and all that kind of stuff. And I would send her and her mom, and they would have a great time, you know. So I'm sad that she can't do those things. But you know, there's so much stuff on YouTube, the travel stuff, and we watch those things, and you know, the animal shows and all that kind of stuff.
Is she listening to music? Is there anything that's?
No, we're not a big music
group. Yeah.
I'm not a big. I mean, to me, when I turn music off, I go, "Oh, this is rather pleasant. I can read and think now." Yeah.
Good show.
Music blaring in my ear. Yeah.
I love it. My other favorite thing you said was that this is when she really needs you now, and she didn't really physically need you. I mean, she loves you obviously, but she didn't need you throughout her life, and now she does.
I wouldn't say she didn't need me.
I mean, need you in that way.
No, I know.
Do you know what I mean?
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I know. Well, you know, I mean, I like that. I mean, I'm a performer, having a good audience, you know, making her smile is...
You still making her laugh?
Yeah, yeah.
What does that?
Last night I said to her, guy goes to the doctor. The doctor said, "What's the matter?" He goes, "When I press here, it hurts. When I press my shoulder, it hurts. When I press my kneecap, it hurts. And when I press my rib cage, it hurts." Doctor says, "You got a broken finger." Yeah. You know, and she really laughed at that. I mean, it's just stupid. And you know, and that's kind of what's fun, you know. You know, anything involving anthropomorphic, you know, like the cat, you know, I mean, I will say, just as a matter of course, honey, the cat, I was asleep last night, and the cat took the butter knife out of the kitchen, and I woke up, and with both her paws, she was pressing it against my... But I don't think she realized how dull the butter knife was. And she starts laughing at that, you know. Just like the cat, rather than getting a steak knife, see, being a cat, it gets the butter knife. You have to pick the knife.
Catch on. Yeah. I'm catching on.
Yeah, yeah. So,
oh my God.
I mean, that's, you know, that's kind of, so, I mean, writing jokes for her or making her laugh, I always try to think of something I can come in with to get her to smile. And it works. I mean, there's no anger. It's not her. Because I know I talk to a lot of people, the people with anger issues, and they go, I mean, if I sense it's going that way, you just, no, actually, no, it's okay, honey, everything's good. It is? Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. You know, that works. So, you know, but the cat with the butter, with both its paws, you know, it's pressing down, it's trying to kill me, and I wake up, you know.
Do you sometimes see, like, glimmers from her moments that takes you right back, that she's 100% with you?
Well, it's interesting because the worst part was probably 6 months ago, because then it was just, everything was a fog. Since we got, you know, nutritious meals, one of the things she doesn't do is exercise. She's just, okay, let go. That seems to have really helped. It's not quite as much of a fog. Because, you know, we're watching something the other day. She said, "Oh, that's the guy from The Bourne Identity." "Oh, you remember?" Yeah, that's Jeremy Renner. Remember he had the accident with the with the snowplow? "Oh, yeah. Oh, okay." So, look, I'm a realist. I know it's not going to get better. But
those flashes
it's
are
better than it was.
Yeah.
Because plenty of sleep, good food. Just trying to keep her happy. It seems to it seems to work. You know, if I was a doctor, I would say the patient is doing well. Put it that way. So it's not like I go home every day and it's screaming and who are you? And I mean that's the reality for a lot of people.
Sure.
But it's not, and I think it's the fact that it's always gentle and you talk and, you know, trying to make her laugh and trying to have things that she thinks are funny. And when you're married, you know.
Does she bring up stuff from, like, when you guys were younger, when you were dating? Do those moments come?
Oh, yeah, we always do that. You know, when I'm carrying her, Carrie, like in the bathroom, we do this, and I call it Jay and Mavis at the prom, in high school, So it's just like back and forth, and she thinks that's funny, So.
So you
I'm
carry her that way.
To the toilet over there. I'm just trying to get her over there. So look, honey, it's Jay and Mavis at the prom, And just that bad because neither of us can dance, so that's what sort of.
But by the way, that's it. No wonder why she's calm and feeling loved and all those things. Because that simple act of taking your wife to the bathroom,
it's not the most romantic thing, really, when you think about it.
But Jay and Mavis going to the prom sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. But you realize, okay, I mean, that's what marriage is. It's the whole. You get to run the whole spectrum of emotions and everything, and it brings you closer. When someone said to me, hey, you're going to get a girlfriend, I wouldn't. I never. No, I'm not. It doesn't even occur to me because it's just okay. Look, we had great times. Okay, this is not that time right now.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
By the way, I bet you've learned so much about marriage through this part, because I think you're right. Some people, when the going gets tough, they say, well.
Well, I always say the greatest love stories are the ones that have never been written. Because people don't want to give it away. You're afraid the secret's going to get out and somehow it will affect you. And I think that's the case here. I'm very comfortable. Like I am somebody in show business, which is an odd. Most times, show business people and civilians, people not in show business, don't really get along that well. They just don't understand each other. Whereas that is not the case here. After the Tonight Show, I enjoyed going home. I didn't want to go to a club or hang out or so and so. I always tell people, I can always tell when guys take the long way home, well, that's a bad sign because you're just trying to get away.
Yeah.
Okay.
How would you describe your love story now?
Oh, how would I describe it now? I always liked, like when I watch magic, I don't like the guy that makes the Empire State Building disappear or the elephant disappear. I like the disappearing dime trick. It's right in front of you, And to me, small moments are what, when I was a kid, I saw the movie Marty with Ernest Borgnine. And that movie really affected me because it was the first time, well, it's the second time, I had empathy. And you realize here's a kind of unattractive man. He meets kind of a dull girl, and his friends are going, come on, we're going to the club. We're going to meet some hot dames, all that kind of talk like from the 50s. And he likes this girl that none of his guys think he should be with, but he's actually the ideal person for him, And it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. It's not right for everybody, but it's right for me,
So the love story is like the small moments, little things.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure. It's not, these people that have like the big wedding with something, you have these guys, they give the girl a ring, but it's encased in a block of cement, and they give her a jackhammer, and she has to break it over together. Men don't really have a good idea of what romance. You know what I mean? You meet guys like this, they think, oh, she's going to love this. And they hate it. I watched one the other day where a cop pulls a woman over and starts screaming, and gives her a ticket, and then the husband comes in, honey, will you marry me? What?
It was like the worst proposal of all time.
Yeah, he thought it'd be really funny. Yeah.
How do you know, how does Mavis show you that she loves you these days? How do you know?
Well, by saying it. I can see the smile. I can tell when she's happy. So, I mean, that's really it. And that, as someone who's in show business, I go home and I get an audience reaction every night. I hear something, oh, okay, I pleased the person I'm entertaining, so to speak, to put it in basic terms, And I say, oh, and that's okay. I mean, it's fun if I'm driving home and I think, oh, what would Mavis laugh at? Oh, let me work something out with the cat or something, some stupid thing, I mean, I got a turkey, and I ate the turkey, but we just had this giant carcass, So I told Mavis, I said, honey, I gave the cat some turkey. I took a picture. And so the turkey carcass is like this big, and the cat is standing next to it, and like she's just eaten the whole turkey. I said, maybe the cat really likes turkey.
She crack up.
Yeah, I just stupid. Funny. Just stupid thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's really, I don't know. It's hard to say. I grew up in New England. And in New England, when you grow up in New England, you read Ethan Frome, Silas Marner, all these horrible, depressing stories. Hey, and then she dies, and then you live in hell for the, just a horrible, it's freezing cold, and you're in a barn, and, just horrible stories. So to me, anything good is like, oh, that's fine. It's not Ethan Frome, it's not Silas Marner, that's fine.
Well, you're just a really good man.
Well, I'm working on it, but thank you.
That's all there is.
Well, thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.